Well, a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Delta T Racing Thursday night. So it's time for Division 2. We're coming from China for round number 9. It's a sprint race format, so we are straight into a one-shot qualification. I'm going to jump on board with Bogarovsky, current championship leader. A very small grid tonight, 12 people. Unfortunately, we've got well, a lot happening for people this week. Pavlosidor, I believe, had a motorcycle accident. Hope you are well and recovering. I understand it's just muscular, so nothing too bad, but hopefully the bike's okay. Best thing, just get back on. Been involved in a couple myself, so I know what it's like. Obviously, we have Hammers missing and Scully missing. They are, I think they're both moving, or perhaps Scully is helping Hammers, but obviously reducing the grid down somewhat. We have Pac-Man missing. Who else do we have missing tonight? Let's have a look. Wazza is not here tonight. And Lakatsis and Hummer, unfortunately, not able to make it tonight. But those that we do have, Bogarovsky in currently fastest, coming around looking to take pole position for the sprint race. Kazingle in, well, was second, but looks like he's had a bit of a, disqualified. So I think had a bit of a poor last corner. But Bogarovsky taking pole position from brother Adam. Ralph Elbers in third. Then we've got Daniel in fourth. J5 Gaming, which is F1 Johnny, just a cross-reference for championships. In fifth with teammate Connor in sixth. Then we've got Skipper in 7th, Rika in 8th, Double 9th, 10th Composite, 11th Cavolis, and 12th being disqualified was Kazingle. So with it all to do from the back of the grid. So Bog taking his Mikey pole there. So 131.949. Jesus, that's quick compared to everybody else. 0.660 ahead of brother Adam. Then we've got Ralph Albers, as I say, in third. So we've got the two Racing Bulls together in third and fourth, and the Williams is together in fifth and sixth. So Skipper 7th, Rika in 8th, Double 9th, Composite 10th, Cavolis in 19th, so I'm not quite sure what happened to 11th to 18th there. And then 20th or 12th is Kazingle. So Cavolis picking up his race win last week at Monza, so he'll be looking at bringing that good form into this week. Apologies, I don't have any graphics set up for this week. As I say, I've been away for a few days, just getting a bit of peace and quiet. Well, a very good evening. And haven't had time to get it set up, so apologies for that. You have to do with me talking through or maybe not talking when I forget what I was about to say. So but anyway, right, so we are going into the sprint race, so it's probably going to be medium tires. I'm not sure how many laps it is, probably going to be about 8 laps. Bogarovsky in the best position from pole position, looking to extend his championship lead. What I will do is just bring up the standings, and I'll read them out to you because I can't show them at the moment. But Bogarovsky is top of the table on 116 points. In second place, we have F1 Johnny, or J5 Gaming as he is on here at the moment, 97 points. So a gap of, what's that, 20, nearly 20, 19 points. Then brother Adam in third with 90 points, so currently in second on the grid here. We've got Hammers, who's missing tonight, in fourth on 72, and Kazingle starting from the back of the grid tonight on 71 points. Then Daniel, Havoc Connor, Hummer, Bob Spun and Ralph Albers rounding out the top 10. Cavolis in 11th, moving up to 42 points after obviously picking up 25 points last week. He'll be looking at trying to progress a little bit further. But anyway, back to the action. We'll have a quick look just to see what everybody is on tyre-wise. And it is everybody gone for the medium tyres, which is understandable. So it's a small grid tonight, so limits the amount or the possibility of safety cars. Not to say that it is not going to happen, but there's less of a chance. Obviously, everyone will be looking for a clean first. Oh, where's the map actually? Let's get the map up. Yeah, looking for a clean first turn. We've got a bit of a gap between. Yeah, a bit of a gap back to skipper. So between 6th and 7th, we've got a bit of a gap there. Also, need to close that up as quick as they can. Bog does not want to be sitting on the start line with cold tyres, which it looks like he's going to. We have, yeah, really need to maintain a pace with the leaders, to be honest with you, because this is now going to put a disadvantage to the pole position. Right, okay, so camera is notoriously poop here at the beginning, so I will probably need to jump on excuse me, to jump on with a driver. And yeah, that's the best we're going to get. So let's jump on with Johnny in 5th position. We can see pretty much what is happening ahead, and a really good start from Brother Adam. No, it wasn't quite. I thought he had Bogorowski there, but managed to Bog keeping the space there. A little bit of carbon fibre flying there. I don't think that was a collision. I think it's more just the game mechanics now when you go over the rumble strip. Brother Adam out of 2nd place there. Looks like losing it coming out of the tight left-hander. Already got on the throttle a little bit too quickly. Thrust round, and we have, who do we have? Skipper and Kazingle involved in an incident there as well. So me saying about limited incidents, we've had 3 cars crashing into each other, and we haven't even got round half a lap yet. But Bog, 1.1 seconds out front, has already broken that DRS from Ralph, who's made his way up through the field, obviously down to Brother Adam moving backwards. Daniel in 3rd was 2nd, so dropping down 1 place behind his teammate. Johnny and Connor in 4th and 5th. So let's see what we have going on a little bit further back. Anything? I'm just waiting to see if anybody is going to make a move. We've got the 2 Williams there exchanging positions. Connor up into 4th position. So Bog put the fastest lap, 137.375. DRS will be enabled now, so we should see some overtaking down the back straight. Bog just over a second clear. Needs to try and keep that, or stretch that if he can. Needs to break that DRS zone. We've got Jack and Composite fighting away here. And Skipper at the tail end. Right, okay, back at the front. Let's see what is going on. Rika in the Alpine in 6th place, looking to put pressure on the back of F1 Johnny. And Connor is actually stretching his legs, is probably a better way of saying it, and pulling away from F1 Johnny in 5th, so he's now on the back of Daniel. So Havoc Connor now on the back of this lead quartet. So about a second in between, so the tyre strategies come up. Obviously mediums all the way is the way to go. I don't know why it's saying about 2 stop or 1 stop. That would only really be if you got any damage. Connor really is on a charge now, making a move past Daniel. And then a bit further back we have Rika making a move on Johnny. So I know Johnny was saying before the race that he's not very, doesn't have very nice things to say about this track. I'm not sure it's one of his favourites, but I think it's pretty much about damage limitations. At the moment in 6th place would bring him home, what, 3 points. Obviously top 8 scoring in the sprint race. No point for the fastest lap in this one though. That's only for the full race, which obviously will follow. We'll have another sprint qualification, and then we'll go into the full race. I believe yesterday had a sprinkling of rain, but I haven't actually seen the stream properly yet, so but a little bit of rain could make it interesting. Gonna have a quick look in the lobby just to see if anyone has advised me what the weather's going to be. Right, so Bog is keeping that gap round about the second, just out of range of Ralph Albers. Connor now closing on the back. And I can see, well, I don't think he got decent drive out of that corner there, but he's closing under DRS. Look to be as close as he can into this corner and perhaps look at making the move a bit further back. Right, so with anything else going on? No, let's get back to... Oh, saying there's nothing else going on. Rika and Johnny, and a bit further back we have Los Cavolis. So last year's race winner, last week's race winner even, doing a few donuts there, struggling to get back on track, and comes back in last place. So all to do for him. 7 laps remaining. I think he'll be looking forward to the full race, as I think there's probably a little bit too much for him to do now to make up. He needs to make up about 5.5 seconds to get himself up into the top 8. So at the front, Bog is now being drawn in. Ralph, half a second behind, has dragged Connor with him. So within that DRS pocket now, Bog is going to come under pressure coming along the back straight. Here we're up to turns 11 and 12. And on to the main straight. They're doing roughly 330 kilometers an hour by the time they hit the braking zone. See, DRS is going to be open for Ralph, as it is a bit further back for Connor, but is Ralph going to go for the move? Doesn't manage, closes. Bog is flashing away in front, which obviously means he is trying to recoup some of that DRS. So much more of a strategy this year on the ERS, being able to control when you deploy it and when you don't, but Bog hasn't enabled it there. I think he'd be quite happy to just let Ralph pass and sit behind him, recoup some of his ERS if he can. So a bit further back, Double making a move on Brother Adam. And Brother Adam looking to take the move back, but not to... Jesus, that's a really not a safe return to track there. Okay. Luckily nobody is out, but that is not how you rejoin to track safely. I can understand you're frustrated, but please look around for other people. Could have destroyed somebody's race there. So Connor now still in 3rd position, sitting patiently behind Bog and Ralph. So is Bog going to look at making the move back on Ralph? Probably would need to, because if he doesn't, he's going to come under pressure from Connor. So the best thing is probably to make the move, get past. That's a too many change of directions there, Ralph. I'm afraid you're allowed to change direction once, not 2 or 3 times on a straight. So the front 3 are breaking away, 3.5 seconds. In fact, everybody's pretty gapped out, to be honest, behind. So we will stick with the front few here. Connor going for a move around the outside of Bog. The outside will become the inside, but Bog having the better traction and keeping position number 2. So lap number 6 of 10. So sorry, it's 10, not 8, as I thought it was going to be. So we are, well, literally into the second half of the race. Also round number 9 today. So that is 3/4 of the season done. 12 rounds. Division 1 still got 4 rounds to go. Unfortunately, due to technical problems, the Australian Grand Prix didn't take place. So that has now been moved to the end of the season. So rather than just not having it at all, it's been moved to the end of the season, so will be the finale. So round number, I think it was originally round number 2, will become round number 12. But anyway, we are talking about D1 today. Bog going back into the lead. Making the move on Ralph, obviously DRS assisted. Bog probably has recouped some of his ERS, but he won't be scared to let Ralph past him. And then look at using the DRS to... Oh, Bog going a little bit wide there. Show Connor the inside, and Connor only too happy to take that place. So Connor up into second place, Bog down into third. Anything happening a little bit further back? We've got teammates Composite and Skipper close by. No, we can stick back to the front here. So I'm going to jump on board with Bog just because he is at the tail of these three. Looks like we could be in for an exciting last 4 laps of the race. But Bog isn't fighting these two in front for the championship, so the loss of a couple of points I don't think is going to upset him too much. Obviously he would like to take the win, but I'm sure he'd be happy with 3rd place and 6 points addition. Johnny currently in 6th, so he will have 3 points. So it'll be a 3-point net gain to Bogarowski going into... Well, have we got yellows? Who is round? I think it might be Brother Adam. I think he's having a hell of a day, to be honest with you. Johnny and Skipper fighting. So Johnny's dropped back quite a bit, to be honest. He's, as I say, he did say he hates this track, but I didn't think he hated it quite that much. But anyway, Connor has, well, not only has he got past Ralph, but he's pulled himself out nearly a second lead. Bog getting past Ralph, I think, behind, looking to take the outside line. Ralph keeping it quite tight there. This is, they need to get past because this is pretty much handing the win to Connor. There'll be 2 laps to go at the end of this lap. Single and double having a nice little battle there, but that is not where the main race is today. It's at the front here. Bog just staying within that DRS zone of Ralph, but Havoc Connor now putting at 1.7 second lead. Obviously that will close up, but not a huge amount. Brother Adam putting in the fastest lap of the race, but has pitted for the soft tyres. So a small consolation for him, but what he has done now is used up a set of soft tyres that he could have used in the race. Bog struggling a bit for traction there. I think his tyres are going off. He just needs to be careful with Daniel just 3 seconds behind. Potentially could pick him off if he has a major drop off, but still within that DRS zone. So closing on Ralph as we're heading down into turns 14 and 15. But Connor gone 2 seconds now. Just jump back here. Johnny getting the position back on Skipper. Skipper had a little look up the inside, but thought better of it and just tucked in behind. Both of them struggling a little bit with... Why have we got a yellow now? Is that Cavolis again? No? Not quite sure. Anyway, let's get back to the battle at the front, which I think, to be honest with you, is pretty much settled. Looks like Connor is going to take the win, 2.2 seconds ahead of Ralph, and Ralph has managed to pull out a 1.5 second gap on Bogorovsky as well. So certainly with outside of that DRS zone. Why have we got yellow? That is Johnny not having a race to remember. He said he wasn't looking forward to the second half of the season. But hopefully if this bit of a bogey one, get that out the way. But still the main race to go. So Bog, as I say, 1.5 seconds back, but he's keeping Daniel at bay 3.5 seconds further back. So it's not as if he is going to lose the podium position here. So Connor starting his final lap now. So Ralph nearly 3 seconds behind. Bog has closed that gap to under a second now. So if he can keep it like that and close up as best that he can, he may well get that DRS along the back straight. So apologies, being distracted by somebody crying outside the window. Luckily it's none of mine, so somebody else in the street must have fallen over. But Bog now, yeah, he's dropped a half a second there. So I wonder if he did eat up a bit of ERS, sorry, just to close that gap up. Skipper closing on the back of double, so that could potentially be an overtake down the start-finish line, down the back straight. But let's go back to Connor, who is coming around turn number 13 now onto the main straight, accelerating. No DRS, doesn't need it. 2.6 seconds clear. Bog 1.5 behind. So this trio really have broken away. Daniel further 4 seconds back. There's Connor coming round the final couple of turns now. Turns 14 and 15. Look at the fast left hand, 16, and we'll cross the finish line to take the sprint victory at China. In second place, we're going to have Ralph coming home. Bog did close up slightly, but not enough at the end there, but takes the last place on the podium. Then we have Daniel in fourth. In fifth will be Rika. Just want to jump back to this skipper. So Johnny does make up a position, but still doesn't get it. But he doesn't? No, skipper's dragged him on the inside. But next across the line, well, was Jack in sixth. So good recovery from him from 12th up to 6th. Double coming home in 7th. So a couple of points for Double there. Skipper getting the final point in 8th place. Then we got Composite in 9th. J5 Gaming or F1 Johnny in 10th. Then 11th is Brother Adam. And 12th, not having a really good race at all, is Cavolis. Still waiting for him to come home now. So Cavolis says actually finally he's retired from the session rather than do that final bit. So that is the end of the sprint race. A good win by Connor, working his way up the field. I can't remember where he was, 4th or 5th, I think. We'll see that in a minute. Right, okay, so official results. Connor taking the win and 8 points for Williams. In second place, Ralph Albers for the Racing Bull, bringing home 7 points. Bogrovsky rounding off the podium in the McLaren, bringing home 6 points. And we've got Daniel in 4th, picking up 5 points. In 5th is Rika, picking up 4 points. And Kazingle gets 3 points for 6th place. Double gets 2 points for 7th. And the final point scorer, Skipper, getting a point in 8th place. Then we've got Composite, J5 Gaming, Brother Adam, and Cavolis were the rounding out the final 12. So we are going to be back very quickly because we are going to have a sprint qualification for the main race. Excuse me. Let's see who I can get to jump on with quickly. Right, so the countdown's begun. We are ready for the sprint qualifying. Who shall we jump on with? It's horrible the way you have to jump through here, but Connor, right, that's it. I wanted to jump on board with Connor. So Kazingle so far, quickest, obviously going through sector 1. A lot to be made yet of this race. Connor with good pace today, so I wanted to jump on with him. But Bog also still quick, heading the table at the moment. Connor. So Connor's been a really good driver for the last couple of seasons, but it seems like this game has suited him. Really taken a leap forward in pace, performance, and obviously has a good racing head on him. So you put all those together, he is going to be up there and challenging. I think perhaps not the best start to the season, otherwise he would be right up the top. But I think he could be a late bloomer. He could make a late push for the championship with a little bit of luck. But certainly would be one to look out for next season. So as it stands, Ralph looking to be the fastest, although he is swapping with, well, he's swapping Bog up to the, it is changing second after second, so I'm not even going to try and keep up with it. I'm just going to stick on board with Connor, and we'll see where he finishes and what time everybody else. Oh, he's gone wide there, so unfortunately invalidating at the final corner. Kazingle taking pole position with a 132.3, I think it was, before it disappeared quickly. But unfortunately there for Connor, looked like he was nailed on for pole position. Unfortunately, just invalidating that final corner, so we'll now start at the back of the grid. So Kazingle taking pole position for Mercedes, 132.232. Bog in second, 32.522, so big gap there of 0.3. Ralph in third place, and Brother Adam in fourth, so we'll finish off the second row of the grid. Then we have Daniel and Skipper on the third row, Rika and Double on the fourth row. On the fifth row, Cavolis and J5 Gaming, or F1 Johnny. And then we have Connor, unfortunately invalidating, will be starting last on the sixth row of the grid. But as I said, we've only 12 cars here tonight. We shouldn't see. Well, he certainly. I don't think Connor will struggle getting through the field. Obviously, depends on what strategy he goes for, whether he's going to go reverse or, to be honest, with 12 people, it's probably not worth the reverse strategy. Especially with the straights here and the pace that he has, I think he will make it up quite quickly. But we will see if he can latch on to the lead group, which I'm envisaging to be Kazingle, Bog, Ralph, and Brother Adam. I didn't see where Brother Adam and Daniel actually finished, but Brother Adam does have pace, just a little bit erratic so far in this race. Not gone in this weekend, not gone his way, certainly in the sprint race. And Daniel was, well, he was about 3 seconds behind Bogorovsky in the end, but certainly there or thereabouts. So here we are, lined up on the grid for the formation lap. Let's have a quick look, see what tyres everybody has gone for. We've got a bit of a mixture, really. We've got four on the mediums, which is Kazingle, Bogorovsky, first and second. Then we've got fourth Brother Adam and eighth Double, all going for the mediums. Then everybody else going for the hards, which is Ralph in third. Then we've got Daniel and Skipper fifth and sixth. Oh, sorry, Rika as well in seventh. And then Cavolis, F1 Johnny, Composite and Connor all going for the hard tyres. So a bit of a mixture there. Nobody risking the soft, which is probably a wise idea. Right, so Jack leading the pack round. He showed he had pace in the sprint race. It was just unfortunate with qualification getting disqualified at the back. Obviously with 10 laps to make it up. Still got himself up into some good points, but showed the pace there. Bog, we know, has the pace. Just seemed to struggle with his tyres a bit round about lap 9, I think they started going off. So whether that is relative to the sprint race or whether we're going to see a similar thing in the main race, but I think he could look at going on to get an early safety car. He could look at going on to the hards and taking it to the end of the race. Right, so again we're going to get an absolute rubbish camera. So I'm going to jump on board with Ralph in third position. We can pretty much see what's going on, and we'll jump to a proper camera once it is available. But we are 5 lights. Lights are out and away we go for the main feature race at China. Bog getting a good start up the inside there, at least maintaining that position. Let's have a look from the outside, see what is going on. So it all seems pretty clean so far, to speak, didn't you, Neil? So Brother Adam Round was saying in chat that he doesn't like this track. He's struggling with traction control. And we've got another car round a bit further back. Oh, shit, we've got 2. Skipper and Rika must have been involved in a small incident there. So apologies for missing that. We've got a bit of a breakaway at the front corner already, up into 7th place. Round the outside of his teammate, considering he's on the hard tyres as well. That is no mean feat for him. So we'll now look at getting on the back of double and making a move there as quick as he can. Let's get back to the front here. So we've got Kazingle in first position, Bogorowski in second. Then we've got the Racing Bulls of Ralph Albers and Daniel in third and fourth. 5th place, Cavolis, last week's winner. We've been looking for a much better feature race than he had in the sprint race. Double looking to bring home some solid points for the Haas team. Teammate Scully missing tonight. As they obviously we're moving. Not sure if he's moving or helping Hammers move. But I know Hammers has been a bit late again from Brother Adam. As they really does seem to be struggling with the traction control. But yeah, I know Hammers has been waiting to move for a long time, and obviously recently had a new baby as well. So my God, must his life be stressful at the moment. I take my hat off to you. Hope you are very happy in your new home and the move goes well, and we look forward to seeing you back as soon as you can get that rig set up, which to be honest should be done before the cot is put up, but I'll let you fight that one out. Okay, so Kazingle and Bog are starting to pull away from Ralph and Daniel. Obviously, I think a lot of that is down to the tyres. I'll have a quick look in a minute, but I believe they're on the mediums. And let's have a quick look, refresh my memory. So yeah, so they're using the mediums as best they can just to try and pull out a bit of a gap on the guys behind. These two, Kazinga and Bog, will work together, I think, to try and pull out as big a gap as they can. So Racing Bulls, nobody going for a move apart from here, where we have Connor going up the inside of Double now. Makes, oh, I was going to say makes a nice clean move, but Double has not given that up yet on the inside. This could not work well. Double might go a bit wide, opening it up for havoc, but it doesn't. What it does do is it opens it up for brother Adam, who is still there, still there, still there. Get through here nice and clean. There's some good bracing there, some good side by side, giving each other the space and enough room. But I'll be honest, I don't expect anything less from Connor. That's a good driver. His awareness is very, very good. And brother Adam making his way back again, as they struggling with that traction control, but keeping himself certainly in the reckoning. But we got some gaps starting to appear. As I say, Ralph and Daniel have dropped a second back from Bogorovsky, and then we've got a 4-second gap to Kavolis. But different tyre compounds in use here. Bog going for the move on Jack, so Bog up into the lead. They'll look at wanting to stretch that as much as they can now. So Ralph 1.5 seconds behind. Connor making the move on Double. Just going, I think he outbroke himself there, went very, very deep into turn 14. But a safe rejoin, still in 8th position ahead of his teammate with the work that he had done to do again. But if you do it once, you can do it again. So Connor making his way back past brother Adam. Jump on board with Connor just through this corner section, because I think he will get good drive and work his way past brother Adam. Oh, brother Adam going a bit wide there. Good drive by brother Adam there. He's looking at making the move on Double. That's before the DRS is even open. Now the DRS is open, and he will... Jesus, this could end up badly. 3 into 1 corner. Sensibly, brother Adam backed out. But he has put himself under real pressure from Connor now. Connor looking at making the move around the outside, which he does going into turn number 1. So Connor back up into 7th place. At the front, Bog dropped back into 2nd place, but as I think they are trying to use each other, give each other a bit of a toe and just try and break back of that Racing Bull. But Ralph is finding some good pace today around China, and is hanging on, certainly with those hard tyres as well. We're probably getting to the point where the heat is nicely into the hard tyres and the deficit to the mediums is not as high as it would have been at the start. And those medium tyres, quite sure where they are going to go off. 28 laps in this race. You're probably looking around about 10 to 12. And then jump onto the hards. If you are a tyre whisperer, you could probably take the mediums a little bit further than that and jump on the softs, but I wouldn't recommend it. Right, Connor still in this bunch. He's ahead of Brother Adam, so 7th position. Bog taking the lead again from Kazingle. Sorry for missing that, Bog. We are keeping an eye on it. But we've got some of the battling going on down here. Is too good to miss. There's a Connor now working his way back up into 7th. Is that now back up into 6th with Cavolis going wide? No, they both made it around the corner. Fair play. Connor now looking for the switch across to take the inside line of Cavolis, which he does do. Keeps that tight, and he should be able to make that place. Bring across and close the line. And Connor back up into 6th place. Double doing really well up in 5th. And so he's had a few good results this year. Had a few bad luck incidents. But good to see him up in solid points. I think this is one of those tracks that if you can just keep it clean, keep, you know, no pens, try not to have any incidents, then you are going to score points, and pretty big points as well. So anyway, back at the front, Bog is now back ahead, although I expect that to swap potentially going down the main straight here. And Ralph keeping him honest, just 1.2 seconds behind now. So Jack taking the lead. Bog just behind Ralph and Daniel. And so we've still got the Racing Bulls line astern. And then we have this battle going on. Connor looking to make the move on Double. Looks to go around the outside. Double looks in the mirror, says no thank you. Goes in a little bit deep, which allows a cutback for Connor. Connor, I say, far too sensible to go for a move like that, especially when he can line it up and make a move here. Has been very quick around this corner, Connor. Oh, looked for a move on the inside, but Double just closing the door there, which he has every right to do. Brother Adam looking menacing just behind there. Will want that position back as quickly as he can. But these 5 are having quite a good battle for 5th place. So Connor will want to get past and try and eke in to the Racing Bulls, but with a nearly an 8-second deficit, it's gonna take some doing. But we could see a safety car which will close it up completely. Always have the lottery of that. Bog now taking the lead again, and Ralph has closed right on the back of the two of them. So the duo has become a trio. And Ralph probably on the better tyres at the moment. Got the hard, so we'll be able to go a little bit longer. Connor does make the move on Double. And Brother Adam follows him through. So Double losing 2 positions there. Looking to fight back on that Ferrari. A little bit wide there, Brother Adam. So he already has a penalty. So every time he goes wide there, he's added 1 more warning. Step closer to another penalty. Right, let's get back to this battle for the lead, because this is getting interesting now. We have, as I say, the 3 of them there. Front 2, Bog and Kazingle on the medium tyres. Ralph on the hards. So let's bring those up so we can see exactly what everybody is on. Obviously no pit stops yet. So we'll see how these three go. Looks like there could be an element of saving going on at the moment. Ralph coming out, I think not for an overtake, just to get a clearer sight of the braking zone. Everything nice and neat and tidy there. We've got Brother Adam is still hot on the heels of Connor. Connor and, oh sorry, the pair of those have managed to break DRS on double. Johnny going for a move on Cavolis, which he does. Oh, Jesus, and double still there as well. Good. Got through there with no contact at all. Cavolis looking for... Oh, it's going to be 3 wide going into turn 1. That is not going to work. And thankfully, Cavolis backed out. Just leaving double and J5 Gaming to have their little battle. But right, let's get back to the business end of today. We've got a yellow. Why have we got a yellow? Oh, just as I flick away from it, double and Cavolis have an incident. So I should have stuck with them rather than going to the leaders, but you can't catch them all. I'm not sure there's any front left end plate damage for Cavolis. For double, sorry. I'm not sure about Cavolis. Let's have a look. Yeah, front right end plate. So it looks like, yeah, a bit of a coming together at the front there. So, okay, Bog has pulled the pin. Pulled out a gap 1.5 seconds on Kazingle, and Kazingle just being overtaken by Ralph there. So let's see what Ralph can do to this lead of Bogorovsky. So they are on the tyre compound differences, so Bog will be coming to the end of the lifespan of the medium tyres, whereas the hards will be pretty much still in their prime. So I would expect Ralph to close this gap. It's just whether he can then make the move, which, to be honest, when you're around China, it's not difficult to make the move down the main straight if you can get within DRS and you have some ERS remaining. Jack will be looking at trying to tow along behind him as well to make this a trio again. Cavolis into the pits, double follows him into the pits, so they'll be repairing the damage done. Who have we got spinning now? We have another spinner. Who was that? I have no idea, but let's get back to the front. Right. So gap still 1.1, so Bog managing to just keep out of the DRS. DRS range, sorry, excuse me. Connor up into 4th place now. Who did he get past? Oh, Daniel. I've missed Daniel. What happened to Daniel? Shot down into 8th position. No, hasn't made a pit stop. Must have had a little bit of a off-track excursion, I would have thought. Probably induced by a little bit of oversteer. So Ralph still looking strong, got that gap down to under a second now, just popped up over a second. Bog needs to really stretch his legs through this sector if he can, just pull out that gap a little bit. Just make sure he is outside of that 1 second gap. I'm trying to remember where the detection zone is for the DRS. I think it is literally there. That's it, where that white line is. So he is within a second. So I think Ralph will have DRS on this lap. He'll be able to close in on Bogorovsky using some of his ERS now. You can tell just closing in. And there's his rear wing open and the gap is staying about the same. So I wonder if Bog either got good drive there or was using some of his ERS just to maintain that gap. And Bog pits. So Bog has had enough of those mediums. So lap 12, round about roughly when I said. So it will give him 16, well, it'll be 17 laps because we're on lap 12, so he's only completed 11 laps. So he will be looking at 17 laps on the hards. Where is he going to rejoin? He is going to come out in 7th place, ahead of Daniel, who has not pitted yet. So Bog, the first to pit, we're looking at getting a bit of an undercut as well. Ralph will be taking these tyres at least another 6 or 7 laps. So Bog can hopefully use the speed of the fresher tyres to try and get a decent undercut and pull out a couple of seconds if he can, just get himself out of that DRS range. So penalty wise, as lap 12, we've only got one person with a penalty, Brother Adam, and I believe that's just a 3-second for multiple warnings. But so far so good. I don't know how many warnings everybody's on. Right, Jack now into the pits. Nearly into the wall as well. Hopefully he slowed that down in time, which it looks like he has. So Connor now will come up into 2nd place. Looks to drop back with Bog as well, because we can see where Bog is going to rejoin compared to Jack. Jack is just coming out of the pits in the background there. So Bog maintaining the position on Kazingle and pulling out probably nearly 2.5 seconds. So pretty good undercut there from Bog. Obviously his tyres are going to be going off a little bit towards the end of the race compared to everybody else's. Okay, so Connor's worked his way back up into 2nd place. Still got to make that pit stop, but then a lot behind him have. So he's still looking at a good 4th position. I mean, if he can make inroads into Ralph, he could be looking to claim even higher. I mean, certainly. All right, who have we got spin-wise? I think that might have been double. We have a safety car. Why do we have a safety car? Daniel is out. Ooh, lad. Oh, on the left there. Let's go back. Cavolis. Where is he? It was on the left there, so it's been cleared away now. But we have a safety car. It's a win-win for Ralph and for Connor, to be honest with you, with the people behind not pitting yet. So Ralph is going to take the lead here. But medium tyres, he's now got to take those 14 laps. They are going to be screaming. So Bogarovsky now has the upper hand. Connor's going to be doing the same. Obviously, he had to do it. Got to go for the medium tyres, but 14 laps, that's going to be quite a lot. We're probably going to be a couple of laps behind the safety car, so they can save on some tyre degradation there. But they're still going to be screaming out, I would have thought, by the end. Certainly the hards will be the better tyre. So good for Connor, can close up onto the back of Kazingle and Bogarovsky now on fresh mediums. sit in 5th. 13 lap old Hards would have... I think he should have pitted, because he's just going to lose so much time now. Even if he goes another 4 laps, he's not going to pull out a big enough gap. If he pits now, he can get out round about where Skipper is, but maybe that's why he didn't pit, because they didn't want to double stack. But to be honest, where they are, it would have probably been better just to double stack and keep the race position, because now they are going to drop. Obviously he's going to lose time here, so if he does come into the pits, he's going to pretty much lose that advantage that he would have had. So I think he's going to come out behind his teammates around about 9th if he pits. He does indeed. So yeah, didn't want to double stack, so that's obviously why he stayed out. Nearly stacked it into the wall. I think a lot of people have done that today. Ralph in the lead on those fresh mediums, behind Bert Mylander in the safety car. Although if you read reports today, it looks like Bert Mylander actually had a bit of an accident at Monza. I think they were doing some high-speed testing in the safety car, and he had a pretty big crash. Absolutely fine, nothing wrong with him at all. Walked away. Tyre barrier took a bit of a hammering, but I suppose if you're going to be the safety car and you want to test safety, then crash it into a barrier and we'll see how it stands out. So, but yeah, a mildly amusing incident to say the least. I'm sure he'll be interviewed about it over the weekend. He'll be very red-faced, but just goes to show how fast the safety car has to drive just to keep a decent pace for the Formula 1 cars. But even then, it is probably still not fast enough. Right, are we going to have a safety car coming in? I don't think we are, because we're still waiting for Double and Cavolis to catch up. So we're probably going to have one more lap under the safety car. So we will get racing on lap number 17. So that will give us 12 racing laps. Oh no, very, very late call there. So safety car is coming in this lap. So when is Ralph going to go? He's gone out the final corner. I think that's pretty much the predictable place to go. Some people like to leave it early. Some bolt a little bit earlier than that. So Ralph pulling away slightly on the start. Second gap already. I think Bog's struggling to get heat into those hard tyres. Connor absolutely loving his mediums in 4th position. I think he's just about ready to swallow up Kazingle and Bog if he can, and be hot on the heels of Ralph. But as I say, Ralph has showed really good pace today. Was up there in the sprint race, and so currently leading in the feature race, although I think it would have been a lot different if it hadn't have been for the safety car. I think Bog had played it quite well and would have made a pretty big undercut. But we can only play the cards that we are dealt, and this is what we have at the moment. So Bog 1.6 seconds back, so yeah, I think he's just struggling to get heat into those tyres. Give it a, you know, sort of probably another half a lap or so, maybe another, you know, lap, and he should have those up to temperature. I think he'll find that car a lot more comfortable. But by then, the damage is already done because Ralph, there's brother Adam having another off-track excursion. But yeah, damage could be done. Obviously, 1.5 seconds clear already, Ralph. I'm sure Bog will start chipping into that, but he needs to look at the long game. And you know, if Bog's been in it long enough and he has the racecraft to realise that a race is not won on lap 17, he will be quite happy. It's lap 28 that he'll want to be in first position. Oh, Jack getting a bit of a snap there. I thought Connor was going to go for the move, but Connor then going a little bit wide there, although he could just be carrying a bit more speed. So Connor lining up the move on Kazingle here, although Jack himself has DRS from Bog in front, so can use that to defend, but Connor looking for the move now. He wants that position now, up the inside. There might have been a bit of contact with Bog there, but I think Bog just moving out of the way. It probably looked a little bit worse than it was. But yeah, Connor with 35.1, so fastest lap of the race up into second place. So we'll see if he can make inroads into Ralph now. I mean, the best thing for Bog and Kazingle behind is to literally try and sit with Connor if they can, use that DRS to pull themselves along. Need to make a break because Rika is coming on the medium tyres, and we've got a quartet of medium runners in Rika, F1 Johnny, Skipper and Cavolis. Bog looks like he is struggling a bit to keep excuse me, to keep up with Connor here. 8/10 behind, just keeping it within that, within the DRS zone. Managed to just close it down a little bit here. I think maybe a boost of ERS just to bring him back, but the DRS zone is there. Bog is within, so we will have the DRS open, but whether Bog will go for a move or whether he'll just use it to just pull himself along, we will wait and see. I think if the move's there to be made, he'll do it. Oh, that was the wrong way. I went the wrong way. But never mind. I thought Rika was going to make a move on Jack then. I think he went to, but didn't quite make it. So Ralph 34.6, fastest lap of the race. Excuse me. Apologies for that, just having a small drink. Okay, so Connor not making any inroads into Ralph, 2.8. In fact, if anything, he's dropping further back. So Ralph really has found good pace here. And there he is, just disappearing around the corner there as here come the chasing pack of Connor, Bog, Kazingle, Rika, then a small gap back to J5 Gaming or F1 Johnny, then we got a couple of seconds back to Skipper, and then some gaps to Cavolis, gap to Double. Brother Adam recovering from many a spin in 10th position there, Composite in 11th. So right, okay, Bog does have the DRS there, Rika does make the move on Kazingle. little bit wide there by Jack, so probably pick up a warning there. Bog has now lost the back of Connor. Doesn't need to panic too much, but what he does need to do is try and keep that gap a second ahead of Rika, otherwise he's going to come under pressure there. But Ralph having a really good race so far, as I say, good pace, showed it well in the sprint race, qualified well for this race, and you know, he's been there on the pace. So the safety car may have saved him somewhat today. I do think Bogorowski and Kazingal would have had the undercut on him. But he's still got a mission on his hands. I say 6 laps he's done on those tyres. We've still got 9 laps to go. So we're looking at what, about 15 laps on the mediums. Is going to be a bit of a push. They're certainly going to be screaming towards the end. And if the likes of Bog and Jack, who are on the hard tyres, can be there or thereabouts, then they can close that gap back. Nothing is set in stone yet. Jack taking the position back on the Rika, so Kazingal back up into 4th position, and Rika down into 5th. So Jack just needs to pull away from Rika if he can. Bog has a 1.1 second gap behind, and a 1.6 second gap in front. So Rika still on the back of Kazingal. 0.6 behind, coming onto the main straight. He will be smashing his DRS button, which he is. I can see it disappearing. He'll be opening his DRS and looking to make the move, which he does. And I think Jack's quite happy to let him go there. And we'll get him either on the next DRS or on the main straight next time. And there we go, Jack taking the position back in at turn number 1. So he kindly allowed Rika to lead him through 3 corners. And had enough of looking at the back of the Alpine and wanted to be, if bit of a slip there from Jack, getting on the power probably a little bit too early. It's not going to help his tyres. But this is the closest battle at the moment, which is why I'm sticking with it. But out front, Ralph now with a 3-second lead. Connor not being able to make too much of a dent into it, unfortunately. Or fortunately, if you are Ralph. Bog dropping a further 2.5 seconds back. But I think probably we've got another 2 or 3 laps of the mediums being in a good condition. And then they're going to drop off. So Rika and Kazingal changing positions again. Kazingal looking up the inside this time. Oh, are they going to go too wide into turn number 16? I hope not, and they're not. But I think Jack is going to make the move again. And he does. So Kazingle back up into 4th. So again, allowing Rika to move or to lead him for 3 corners. We'll see if that is the way the rest of the race is going to be. Although he doesn't want to allow him to lead him into the last 3 corners on the final lap, because I don't think he'll have enough to actually out drag him to the start finish line. So he will need to be leading there if he can. Okay, so out front, Ralph of 3.8 seconds clear. So I'm not sure if Connor made a bit of a mistake. I don't think he has, looking at where Bog is, because I mean Bog hasn't made a huge amount of time on Connor either. I think it's just a matter of Ralph has got super pace today. We shall go back to the, I was going to say the dose of Rika overtaking Jack, but it does look like either Rika's a little bit, well, Rika is further back, but whether he's holding back and looking to give Kazingle a dose, no, spinny wheels there, right, okay. So those mediums are starting to struggle a bit now. Bog closing that gap, just a couple of tenths on Connor, but a couple of tenths this lap, a couple of tenths next lap, and you know, with the tyre degradation kicking in. But Ralph seems to be quite comfortable out front on those mediums with a 4-second gap now. But this seems to be the only battle that is going on track currently. So Jack is closing in, I think ever so slightly on the back of Bog. Just needs to break this 1 second from Rika, and then they can just be a little bit more comfortable. But I don't think it's going to be too long, because they are making up time around the corners now, and the medium's dropping off, big time dropping off. So that is the gap that Jack wanted, to give himself a little bit of free space, so he's not having to worry about the person behind him all the time. So that is the DRS broken. Bog 1.9 seconds, so he's closed in 0.4. Jump on board with the race leader Ralph just to see. Yeah, I think his tyres are starting to struggle now. Connor the same. Bog. I think Bog just being more careful than anything there, but the mediums are starting to drop off. So 4 laps left, including the one that we are on. Can Ralph keep first position? Can Connor hold on to second position? Can Bog pass them both for the race win? Can Jack close up? We'll find out. So 1 retirement tonight, Daniel. Unfortunately crashing on lap number 12, as I believe it was just coming out of turn 4. I think perhaps got on the gas a little bit too early and spun around. Right, so Connor is eking into the gap on Ralph. Is now down to 3.8 seconds. Bog not making too much of an impact on Connor. Still 2.2 behind. Did have that gap down to just under 2 seconds at one point. It just seems to be eking out again. So race order on lap number 26. We've got Ralph Albers leading Connor in second place, Bogorowski in third, Kazingle in fourth. Fifth is Rika, 6 F1 Johnny or J5 Gaming. In seventh, we've got Skipper. Eighth, we have Brother Adam. Ninth, Cavolis. 10th, Double. 11th, Composite. So just the one DNF so far of Daniel. A gap back up to 4.2. Bog gap 2.2. So it's pretty stagnant at the moment. Ralph coming around, turns 14 and 15 is 16. To start the lap number 27, the penultimate lap of the Chinese Grand Prix, round number 9, DTR season 10. I do have to say he has driven a really good race today. As got some good pace, and yeah, perhaps was a little bit lucky with the safety car just to bring him back into it. I think Bog would have had the undercut on him, as would have Kazingle. But pretty much a faultless race today, other than probably a bit too much weaving on the main straight in the sprint race, trying to defend his position. I say it's you're allowed one change of direction, and I think he made 3 or 4. But in the feature race has been pretty faultless so far, skidding it around the corner there, 4.6 second gap now, and soon going to be lapping Composite. Whether he gets there before the end of the Grand Prix, we will have to wait and see. But right, okay, we've got a bit of a battle maybe. Brother Adam closing in to within a few tenths on Skipper. Skipper will be struggling on those tyres. Brother Adam 14 lap old hards, so we'll certainly have the better tyre. Brother Adam going for the move down the main straight as expected, as the leaders start their final lap of the race, with Brother Adam recovering there back up into 7th place. Excuse me. Right, so let's jump back on board with Ralph. As I say, he has had a cracking race today, so we'll give him a bit of time. 5.1 seconds clear, so managing to make those mediums last perhaps a little bit longer than anybody else, or maybe just comfortable with a slippy slidey car. Skipper hanging on to the back of Brother Adam. Obviously look at trying to make that position back again before the end of the lap. So Connor, back of the grid start, 12th position up to 2nd place. Some stellar overtakes, good clean racing as per normal, and again has managed to make these tyres last. 1.6 seconds clear of Bog now, so that gap has come down, but not enough that we need to worry. But Ralph now coming around the final 3 corners to win the Chinese Grand Prix. His first victory of the season. Here he is round the left-hander. Don't pick up any penalties now. And there we go. Ralph takes a well-deserved win. So congratulations to him. Connor, a good recovery into 2nd place. Bog taking home 3rd position. Kazingle had enough trying to crash on the line. Rika coming home in 5th. F1 Johnny, I think he'll be happy with 6th considering his dislike for this track. I'm not sure whether he dislikes it or it dislikes him. It's probably a mixture of both, to be honest. I think they go hand in hand. Brother Adam recovering to 8th. Double will come home in 9th position for the Haas, so bringing home 2 valuable points for them. Cavolis, last week's winner, not having the best of races today. In fact, not a great weekend. Obviously, the sprint race and the main race, but comes home to pick up a point. Composite will be the last to finish. What I'm going to do is just have a look, see who got the fastest lap. Ralph did 1:34.650, so 26 points to Ralph. All in all, a pretty decent weekend for him. So here we go. Composite will come round to finish in 11th position. So a cracking win there by Ralph, as I was aided ever so slightly, I think, by the safety car, which was caused by his teammate. So we won't mention any Nelson Piquet Jr. Renault tactics there. Flavio Briatore as the team boss. But we'll just put it down as a coincidence, but a cracking win for him anyway. Standing on the top spot there with Havoc, Connor and Bogarovsky. Bog will extend his championship lead. Not quite sure by what at the moment, because I have not got anything in front of me to work it out. So here we go with the official race results. Let's get across to the race. So Ralph bringing it home for the win and fastest lap to boot. So 26 points to him. Connor, a 12th to second recovery. Bogarovsky on the podium. In third position, so 15 valuable points to him. Then we have Kazingle in fourth, Rika in fifth, sixth F1, Johnny 7th, Skipper 8th, Brother Adam 9th, double 10th, Cavolis 11th, composite, and the only DNF in 12th was Daniel. Well, interesting race today. And so obviously down to the safety car, it did change the pecking order ever so slightly, but also made it very exciting. So that's round number 9 over and done with. We'll be back same time next week. Well, we'll be back next Wednesday actually for Division 1, and I'll be back for Division 2. We are at Singapore next week, so just a standard race next week. You've got a 18-minute quali and a 50% race. Then the following week we go to Qatar, where we have another sprint race and 50% race, so obviously both surrounded by one-shot qualifications. And then we finish the season off on the 18th of September in Brazil. I say we in Division 2. Division 1 will have the week after in Australia to recover. So thanks ever so much. Congratulations to the top 3. A good race. And I say only one safety car, one retirement, but only 12 people. So hopefully we'll have a few more next week. But thanks ever so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary, and I'll be back next week. Have a good weekend, everyone.